Have you ever wondered if it's too late to make a career change? I have. And something that's been kind of chewing at me for a while now is whether I made the right decisions in my life. My faith is very important to me. And I go to Life Church. Craig Rochelle's my pastor. He did a message series on margin, which he gave full credit and said that it was based on the work of Andy Stanley. I went back, and Pastor Stanley, he's in the Atlanta area, watched that. You can still find it on YouTube. I can even find some links, see if I can put it. I don't know how to do that yet, but hopefully by the time I post this, I will. It was called Breathing Room, was the name of the message series. It was a 4-part series. In it, he talked about regrets, things of that nature. He quoted, I'll try to put the name in the link as well, but I believe it was an Australian nurse who was in hospice care that essentially she took care of people in their last remaining weeks of their life. So in this, over the course of maybe 2.5 years or whatever, she ends up documenting what the questions were that they worried about the most. Looking back, because none of us want to look at that and say, oh my gosh, that was, I wished I'd have done this, or I wish I'd have done that. But the clarity that you have in those last few weeks of life must be something that those of us that aren't in that position cannot even fathom. So, her, over the course of several years, being able to document some of these things was just a tremendous resource and insight. Number two, and this was one I kind of thought was number one, and I know it's true of myself because I've been guilty of it my whole life, is that they wish they hadn't worked so much. Spent more time with the family, spent more time with kids, just doing other things, because everything is a trade-off. When you're working, you're like, oh yay, let's get all these things, let's have all these nice things, but then you hate coming home and you hate the person that you've become. You come in, I think Pastor Stanley in his deal, he gave the example of if you come home and your spouse or your kids cringe when they hear the garage door open. That's not really what we wanted for ourselves. So in this same vein, the number one thing that came out in that was that they wish they had lived their life true to themselves instead of what other people expected of them. I didn't expect that, but when I saw it and I heard it, I'm like, it made sense. And the more I thought about it, I started thinking back on myself. This was months ago that I went and listened to Pastor Stanley's Breathing Room series on that. But it was a progression of things. So then, we had a passing of my mother-in-law over the Thanksgiving holiday here in 2022, and it was a tough time for everybody. My wife is, I try and be there for her as best I can. I know she would be there for me, but all of those things start making you wonder what ifs. Because my wife had told me, oh, my mom always wanted to do this, but she never got to. So, in my career, it seems like lawyers never retire, ever. I've kind of made the joke over the years that, I don't want to be the guy that when they pass away, somebody says, oh, I just saw him in the hall last week. I don't, that's not what I want. So, all of that in there got me thinking. And of course, I'm like, okay, I'm 50 now. I turned 50 this past year. I have a family. I have responsibilities. Two older kids. One that's younger. There's a gap in there, so he's still in school. I've got responsibilities all over the place. So can I really stop doing what I'm doing? I don't know. It's a scary proposition, but one that I've just decided that, hey, it's got to happen. It's got to happen. So we're going to see. So first off, my family does support me in this, which is a definite blessing, because without that, I don't know that I could. But family loves you, they support you, and so that's what I'm going to do. So here's how I'm going to break this thing up. I've got a YouTube channel that you're probably watching this on, called Bee's Place. Now what the heck is Bee's Place? Bee's Place kind of came off of a Discord server that I had. And for those of y'all that don't know anything about Discord, it's essentially a voice chat server. It's used by a lot of people that do online games and things of that nature, and that's why I used it. And I always communicated with people on it. The B came from the most prevalent online character name that I have across all platforms, which is Blanick, B-L-A-N-I-C-K. So, you know, in chat and things like that, people often just started shortening it to B. Hey, B, what's going on? Hey, so I came up with Bee's Place. It was kind of a gender, faction, all-around neutral place for people to hang out. Because in online games, you end up having, you know, just like in society, factions of people that don't like everybody else. And so I'd wanted a place to where everybody felt like they could come, and I kind of regulated it, like, you know, don't be starting up anything here, because then you're gone. So in taking that theme of Bee's Place, I thought about, well, why don't I just come up with a channel, and then that'll be my place to document what I'm doing, because I don't know what I'm doing right now. I have some ideas, I have some areas of interest, but there's still this journey. So what I've decided to do, I don't know if this is going to work, I don't know about any of this, okay, so bear with me. What I've decided to do is one channel, Bee's Place, and that's kind of going to be the central hub. There, people can connect with me. I'm going to have my vlog on there, which it's going to be something like this, a little less, you know, formal, hopefully, a little more off the cuff. But for right now, I'm just kind of getting the structure down. But the vlog is going to document my personal thoughts, what I'm doing, what I'm going through, what I'm trying to figure out next as I'm creating this. Because at the very least, if I fall flat on my face, you know, at least some years later, my kids, my family can go back and go, what the heck happened to Dad? What did he do? Why did he do that? Well, I can go back and look. And hopefully empathize with me if they can't sympathize. So we'll try that. Now, going through a lot of the stuff that I've been reviewing, it looks like people, oh, stick with one deal, find your niche. You know, do videos on this topic, do videos on that topic, but have one channel, have it specific. No, because I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I like, and I don't know what comes across and has interest to others. So there's going to be different areas, and each area I'm going to put within a playlist to at least give it some organization. Now, if certain areas I don't like it, you know, viewers don't tend to really care about it either, and then it's probably as far as that'll go. But you know, if there's an area that I really like and viewers find interest and get value in what I'm doing, and then, you know, maybe I'll break that off and put it as its own channel, and that'll be that's at least right now what I'm planning on doing. By the way, I'm like right by the bathroom here in S&B. So people, you know, come by going, what's this guy doing? So anyway, you know, what are some of the areas that I thought about? Well, first of all, the easy one, at least for me, is lawyer. Just because I don't want to do the full-time practice of law anymore. I'll never really give it up, but the full-time practice of law, it doesn't mean I don't have just a world of knowledge to give, and there's certain groups that I believe can benefit from it. Number one, law students. You know, looking back, man, law school, all that really does is it teaches you how to pass tests and think like a lawyer. It does not teach you how to practice law. It does not teach you how to deal with clients. It does not teach you how to deal with judges. It doesn't even tell you how to file a case. Okay, it will give you lofty principles that you can discuss and sound smart at parties with, but when it comes down to it, and you're walking around downtown and you've got this filing and you're trying to go around somewhere and like, where do I go? Well, then shit. Sorry. Well, then you got to at least know what the court clerk's office is. There's areas within, and right now I'm still kind of sticking with the law school thing, but there's areas within law school that I was particularly good at. Others are better at other things, but there were certain things that I did very well. So I can probably help out on those. I plan to reach out to some of my friends that are law professors and that are teaching it in that way, either as an adjunct or full-time staff, and just ask them, is there anything that your students are struggling with, any concepts or anything like that? There's one thing that I've always had the ability to do, which is to explain things in a way that just about anybody could understand. At least I believe it. Now that I say that, it's not going to happen, right? But if they say, well, we don't know what the rule of perpetuities is as far as property. Well, not a whole lot of people do, but evidence, what's hearsay? You have those. Can you do that? How do I get around this? If the other side objects to this, how am I supposed to react? So those are things that could help there, which also kind of bleeds over into helping other lawyers, because not all lawyers, trial practice is not always their forte. I started out way back when, I think my very first trial almost 20 years ago was a murder case, or a conspiracy to commit murder and embezzlement case. God, the thing lasted like 7-8 days. That was my first one, and trust me, I did not know what the heck I was doing. I had a more experienced lawyer with me there, second chairing me. But ouch, there was a lot that I didn't know, and a lot that I was trying to learn. By the way, I'm trying to do a good job of not looking at the little frame thing and to look into the camera. We'll see. But even nowadays, it's what people see on TV is not always what happens out there. They see your Law and Order, they see your CSI or any number of those lawyer shows, and they believe that this is what happens, and that lawyers spend all their time in the courtroom. No, not really. The majority of cases settle. No matter what the area is, they settle, and so there's not a ton of areas for lawyers to pick up practice doing trials. I've had more trials than I think I can count, but I wouldn't even hazard a guess. Spanning different deals: divorce, criminal, probate issues, all those things. But I want to try and help in that regard. I want to give back. Another thing that I thought I could help with, because I'm not, the whole purpose of this is not to draw business towards me as a lawyer. Actually, it's vice versa. I'm moving out of there, but that doesn't mean that I can't help out people. I've always been that type of person to try and help where I can. Sometimes it's to my detriment because I end up spreading myself out too thin. But getting ready for a deposition, something of that nature. That's one of the topics that I thought about. The lawyer, I could make a video from the side of the lawyer on preparing for a deposition, as well as on the side of view of the client on preparing for the deposition, what to expect. What to expect coming up on court. There's certain things within Oklahoma family law, there's a lot of questions there that I think people have, because it's really a scary place. If you're not in it all the time, that unknown is what scares you so much. And when it's something like a divorce case with kids, and there's so much at stake, and you feel so out of place, that becomes difficult. And oftentimes I found out with my clients, me just talking to them and explaining to them certain things relieves that. And so hopefully, as most attorneys are, busy beyond their desire, if I could make some kind of things that where they could just point their client to and say, hey, right here, and he explains it really well. You can keep watching it over and over again. Maybe that'll help. Another area within the legal sphere, and this is kind of a one that I've just always really had a soft spot for, is children going through custody proceedings. There are so many issues, so many things that happen. Now, I can't talk about, specific client things or give away any type of privileged information. I don't plan on it. But there are common things that I've seen and examples that I can give that hopefully I can make people see that what they're doing is really affecting the kids. You're not affecting the other spouse as much as you are the kids. So just those type of things. And again, it's a place where people, the more you feel like you're losing control on a situation like a divorce, the more you try to do to exert control, and you make it worse. So again, I want to be able to help out in that regard, and I'm open to other things. Like I said, I've got a plethora of knowledge. That doesn't mean I don't want to give it out. I just don't feel like that's my calling anymore. Okay, non-legal areas. I've thought about movie reviews. I don't know if it'll do well. I don't know if I'm cut out to be a critic. I don't know how people get their little clips and stuff like that. I know a lot about it. I've tried to talk my wife into, and she may be willing to help me on the movie part. She and I are very complimentary in that part, because my knowledge, I remember movies, I remember lines, I remember dialogue all over the place. From just the randomest thing. My wife, however, is more in depth of knowledge. So Lori will sit there and say, oh, you see that guy right there in the background? That's actually the second cousin of the once removed daughter of Bing Crosby. And I'm like, how the heck did you know that? But she's always done it. It's just, I love it. I love it, and it always impresses me when she does that. Travel and languages. I always love traveling, but I never do because I'm always working. I've always liked foreign languages. I know several to varying degrees of proficiency. Others I would like to do more. I would like to learn. Those are things that would definitely fall within the regret and not wanting to regret areas. Gaming. I'm a gamer, always have been. How does that look? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Cooking. I love to cook. Could I do a cooking channel? Could I do restaurant reviews? Could I do any number of those things? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll go to cooking school. And we'll do that. I've always been kind of a fan of lifelong learning in that respect. So here I want to thank you. If you've listened to it this far, you've listened to my little ranting, I appreciate you. And I will try and make the rest a little bit more upbeat, but here I was trying to give you a little bit of structure, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm really excited about it and hope that I can help some people out. Thanks.